So- Thanks, honey. Where was I? Zoom. That's where I was. So see, the thing is that when you have to stop to do that, then I always have to go through this little process. I think I'm going to start messing with the Google thing. What is it called? Google what?
Google Meet.
Google Meet.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Google Meet.
All right. Well, welcome to M3 Mastermind. Tonight we're talking about belief, creating the belief that generates the results you want. And the big question is do you have what you want in your life? Do you have what you want? And I think everybody can answer that question with yes and no. But do you have what you believe? And yes, that's true. That one's always a yes. We have what we believe in our life more than what we have, what we want. And when our beliefs are aligned with what we want, that's what we call success. We call that a happy life. People enjoy that type of life. When your wants are not in harmony with your belief, then we call that struggle. And that's what tonight's all about here. In the coaching, we call it praxis. It's about aligning your beliefs with your behavior so that you get the results that you want. Napoleon Hill, again, most of the stuff that we share about is coming from Napoleon, and Napoleon did the most in-depth study of success that we know of yet today. For nearly 25 years, he studied 500 of the most successful people in the world, and these are the things that he came up with. There's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief and not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. These are the things that he noticed, that he observed. He studied these people like scientists that were common amongst all of them. And this is a big deal when people go, well, that law of attraction stuff, it doesn't really work. I tried that. And it's the big shift between wanting something in the conscious mind. That's what want really is. And we're going to cover that a little bit more. And feeling that you are something. That's what belief is. Belief is not something that we're focusing on. I have to, force this or think about this. Our conscious activity, our conscious thinking is only 2 to 4% of our day. Our unconscious being as we are, that comes from that belief of what you are in relation to anything that you're seeing in the world, is 96 to 98% of our day. That's what that is. That's habit. And we've got to learn how to get that stuff down in there from that point of view. So that's the thing. It's the big difference between just spending a little time with something, as we say, oh, watch The Secret, a law of attraction, or whatever. I said, oh, it didn't work out for me. That's why, because we didn't have the understanding of how to make this part of your programming, or what we refer to as paradigm, that multitude of programming that's in your subconscious that creates your results in life. So believe, and your belief will create the fact. Law of reversibilities. We work in absolutes in this coaching. We don't work from maybe, maybe not. Law of reversibility says that if one cause can create the effect, then that same effect can be switched and cause the cause. The effect and cause are one and the same. Those two go back and forth. I know that that's a little hard for you to understand the way that I'm explaining it. Let me explain it this way. Electricity can be used to create a magnet, and we know that. So you have a piece of metal and you apply the electricity to it. It aligns all the electrons on the magnet, and then, or on the steel, I should say. It starts off as steel, and then it aligns all the electrons facing one way. And so they have this polar charge completely on one side and on the other, which causes it to attract and repulse with the other magnet. It's either slamming together or pushing away. But it's by electrifying that steel that causes those electrons to align. Now, law of reversibility applied to that is that electricity can cause a magnet. Magnets can cause electricity. And we know this to be true because that's exactly the way that it works. When they're spinning those big turbines in the dam, you know, the water's flowing through it. It's magnets that's flowing by each other, creating that electrical charge. It's giving off the electricity that actually powers the lights above my head and everything else. It's the same for everything that way. So belief, when you have something happen in your life and you go, okay, I'm working in a job and I'm doing this and I'm getting some results and I'm continuing to work in the job because I need to work in the job and I don't want to get fired or whatever, but you continue to do that job over and over again. And that creates a belief about yourself in doing that job. Like becoming a teacher for the first time, you don't know how to do it, right? Feels weird. It feels like a fish out of water. But the more you do it, the more you become comfortable with it. You become comfortable with it because you create the belief about do the thing, and then the belief shows up. Flip side of that law of reversibility is that the thing shows up because you create the belief. It's the same. The more time you spend creating the belief, the more that thing will show up in your life. They're one and the same. The pathway is the same. And that's why this quote is so profound from William James. He was one of our first great psychologists, American psychologists, one of our most influential philosophers in America. And he's known as the father of American psychology. Back in the 1800s, this guy said this: believe and your belief will create the fact. It's true. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Heard that so many times from Henry Ford, but man, the more you take that in, the word in there, think, he said here, believe you can. You think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. Why are you thinking? Why are you having the thoughts that you're having? Because that's according to your programming. You're thinking in line with what you believe. So whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. We have what we have in our lives because of what we believe, not what we want. Ask yourself this question: what's the difference between what you believe and what you want? Your beliefs are not in harmony with what you want when you're going after your big goal in M3. And I know that to be true because the moment your beliefs are in harmony with what you want, it shows up in your life. And I know about that because I'm pursuing a goal right now too. We're all pursuing goals. Remember, Earl Nightingale said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That's where real success comes from, is pursuing something. And it's not until you're able to create the belief that the thing is going to show up. So the real joy and happiness is understanding how to create the belief inside of yourself. Understanding also the difference between what you believe about yourself, becoming consciously aware of, man, here's where I'm holding myself back. This is why I don't think that I'm worthy of this thing. This is why I don't have this thing in my life. This is what I'm telling myself. I'm catching that message that's saying why this is not here. What do I want that message to be? That's always the power in what we're doing at M3 and in thinking into results, is creating the awareness where you can catch it. And I know you, Jennifer, have caught that a lot more now with what you're doing, becoming so much more aware. So we go back to our stick person in order to understand this stuff. Conscious mind, it's where we are. We have the ability to accept, reject, create thoughts, whatever. We have that stuff there. See, hear, smell, taste, and touch. It's telling us what's going on in our world now and maybe a little bit about what's happened in the past. It also has the ability to imagine. That's so, so powerful. And it only does one thing at a time. So we don't get confused unless we're changing the channel too fast. But we do one thing at a time with the conscious mind. Our want is generated in the conscious mind. I want to achieve this thing. I want to do this thing. But how do you get that down into the subconscious? Big question, because that's where it's got to go. That's where we're coming from. 96 to 98% of our day, we're coming from the subconscious. What is subconscious? It's feeling. It doesn't have the ability to accept or reject. It always accepts, and it accepts based on your feeling. So what is your predominant feeling in terms with what you're wanting? Is it saying, yes, this is who I am? This is what I have in my life? Or is it saying, no, that I'm not? Do I feel that or not feel that? That's the key. And that's why it's so important that what we talk about in M3 is that we get emotionally involved with already having what we want, because the belief is what creates the fact. That's what's going to change your action, your physical action that you're taking into the world, because the body, the physical body, is just an instrument of the mind. It does exactly what the mind tells it to do. But also, you are that energy force that's sending that out into the world. You're sending that feeling out. You're attracting those things to you. Those people, circumstances, situations, they're all coming to you, and you're creating that receptive state where you're actually able to see the things. All the success in the world can be sitting around you right now. And if you don't believe that that's possible for you, you will not see it. I had this conversation today about one of the biggest hells to live in is to succeed, and succeed in a way that you hate. You've got the money that you wanted, and everything that you have to do, you've created this process, and your success is something that you hate. The biggest thing for business owners, they go out and create their business and they hit their ceiling where they can't succeed anymore. They have to create a team to replicate what it is that they're doing. And they don't believe that there's anybody else out there that can do what they do. So they're stuck. And every time their business grows, it causes them pain because it chews away at them more time. It takes more time from their life. They're the only one that can do it, because that's the belief that they hold. Isn't that something? See it over and over and over again with people that way. And it's only a belief. A belief can be changed. So what is belief? In the dictionary, it says an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. Is belief in the value of hard work. Have we heard that or not? Your success can be due to hard work, or it can be to not hard work. It can be easy for you. It's your choice how you want to create it. Not understanding that, a lot of times we believe it gets handed down, that belief to us. It's got to be hard work. I got to show the world that I'm working really, really hard. It doesn't have to be that way. Remember, I said this. We work in universal laws here. So if I told you to do something, go from point A to point B, what are all the ways that you can get there? If you really take a deep look at it, you'll find that all the ways to get there, it's infinite from point A to point B. And it's infinite between you and your goal. It's the same. So you get to create that along the way. How do I want this process to go? What do I want to be doing? What do I want to be feeling when I achieve my success? The second part of the belief is trust, faith, or confidence in something. What's the something we want to be trustful and faithful and confident in? There's only one thing to be trustful, faithful, and confident in, and that is yourself. What is belief? Belief is just thoughts or ideas held toward a thing. You know, we have the ability to create the thoughts. Ideas is just a collection of thoughts toward a certain thing. That's all that an idea is. But what is a thought? It's just an image, a vibration. It's something that you're creating in your mind. And our beliefs are just based on our valuation of something. Frequently, if you go back and reevaluate that thing, you can change your belief about it. I'm not smart enough to succeed. Take a closer look. There's some people that aren't very smart at all that have succeeded in a very big way. It's not actually a required thing. You know, I've seen big success with people in my fitness world. People that use personal trainers and use them often, you know, they might spend a couple $1,000s a month just on their trainer, and it's no big deal for them. And the text messages that they send can be completely misspelled in bad English. It's not uncommon to see that stuff. And it's interesting because in our minds, we think that, you know, that doesn't match up. It's not true. Go back and look at where this stuff came from. Andrew Carnegie, he only had a fourth grade education. Thomas Edison, invented, I mean, how many patents did that guy have? We're still enjoying the inventions that he had created, and he had 3 months of formal education. All those things just get thrown out the window when we really start to look at what we're saying holds us back. I can't, I don't have. Have a look at what's holding you back. So
Man.
what do you believe you're capable of? We've listened to M3 enough to know what should you believe that you're capable of. We only have two sources. Yes?
Matt. Oh, I didn't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I had a question. You want me to wait till the end?
Yeah, or if you want to ask a question, go for it, brother.
Well, it was just kind of first of all, it's what I was saying when I was at Target and my phone died, but it's kind of along the lines of something that I found interesting when I was at Legoland. I don't know if you caught what I was saying, but, it used to be a place where, middle to upper class people can afford to go, right? And you kind of had the lower class, people that we consider lower class, maybe not quite as mannered, if you will, weren't capable of going. Well, I've noticed I saw different classes, that's a social word, but by no means am I better than anyone. But for a lack of a better term, I saw different classes there, lots of diversity there. It was nice to see people that we probably all middle class to upper class people consider to be lower class. It's nice to see them be able to afford Legoland and enjoy those types of things. However, I noticed that money doesn't necessarily change behavior, because, the people that you're kind of like surprised to see there in a judgmental way, you hear like lots of cussing and like, probably smoking cigarettes in areas they're not necessarily supposed to. And it kind of just showed me that money doesn't change behavior. I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting. And when people think that their whole lives will be changed because they get money, it's not true. If all it does is, what's the word, amplify what you are. If you're a really kind person, then you will be an even more kind person. And if you're a real a-hole, you'll just become more of an a-hole. A person's only going to change who they are because they choose to change who they are. And money doesn't change that at all. I've said that before, that I'm going to have to pull that study up sometime, but it wasn't really a study. It was just something Oprah had done. She had given that homeless person $100,000 and went back and checked on him in so many months. I think it was just under a year, and nothing had changed for them. Or money was gone and they were still living homeless. We think, and it's such a false belief, that something outside of us, will change everything for us. If I just won the lottery, I would just, be happier. No, man. Like, happiness is a choice that you make and you learn to make, and it becomes a state of your being. It becomes part of your beliefs, what this lesson really is about. So we at the base, we go, okay, what do you believe you're capable of? Because if there's anything in there outside of infinite, we have to understand that, no, that's not true. We only have two sources of reference, science and theology, and nobody knows what humans are capable of. Jesus never said that you were not capable of things. Jesus said that all these things that you've seen I've done, any person that chooses to believe that they can do more can do that. Never said that you were limited. And science has no idea, from the study of how much of our brain we actually use, or the way that people use their brain in particular ways, not understanding what the mind is and how all of it comes together. They can only come to one conclusion, and that's your infinite. That's all. So a bigger question is what do you believe you're worthy of? That will tell you what your belief really is. What do you think you're worthy of? Are you worthy of the success that you want? Do you feel that you're worthy of it? And when you really imagine yourself stepping out and doing it, you'll find a lot of those answers, because you'll get a lot of pushback coming from your subconscious saying, oh, no. You find those beliefs. Great. Don't get angry with those beliefs. Don't put energy into them. Just step back, understand that you're the being that's observing all this stuff, and evaluate them. Just look at them. Is that what I want? Well, no. Well, what's the belief that's going to get me to what I want? That's the real key here. Just sit back and observe, because that's what you are. You are the observer. Change it for what you want. Understand that you are the creator. All right. Belief. It's just a vibration. It's a habitual vibration. You don't stop and search your Rolodex in your head for your name. You got to go pee. You don't think about which foot to put first. I mean, if you're walking to the bathroom, you just go. But all this programming takes place. It's like forming the sounds of the words and the letters that make your name, what it sounds like. Taking the steps, how many muscles are you activating? You're not even thinking about it. You just do it. And this belief, that's what we've got to do, is get it down into that programming and learn how to do that. We do that in M3 to a certain extent. And in the big coaching, that's what we do in a big way. That's why we create whatever it is that you want. Take action here. Use this stuff. Watch this recording regularly, because that's what's going to make the difference. Take this action daily. Get in the vibration. Take a look at the most important areas of your life: finances, business, vacation, relationships. You can look at something else if you want. Those are some of the main ones, but look at them closely. Describe each area exactly as it is now. Then go back and describe each area exactly the way you really want it to be, not what you think you can have. Describe it as your perfect, whatever, financial situation, your perfect relationship, your perfect health and fitness. And then understand that what you've just done is identify the difference between what you truly want and what you believe you deserve in each area, and the gap between that. You've defined it out and you've said, this is the difference between the two. How do I get my beliefs to that point? Well, here's how. Reevaluate your beliefs about what you're worthy and what you are capable of, and rewrite a single statement as you want things to be for each area that you've just addressed. Write it in the present tense. Begin the reprogramming process through constant spaced repetition. That's how you learn to do all those things that I just described. Walking, running, jumping, saying the name, speaking, all of that. It was constant spaced repetition, doing it again and again and again until it became part of who you are. Every time you think of that area of your life, you can say only think of the positive state that you created, or you can say the moment you recognize yourself feeling that opposite statement, the thing that you don't want, switch it. Just keep switching and keep switching it, and never stop until one day you look up and it is who you are. That is it. Belief. It's the basis for what you are. As Napoleon Hill said, it's not mere hope or wish. It's not going to get us something. It begins as a hope and a wish and a desire, but it will not show up for you in your life until it becomes part of your belief system. Next week's all about vibration, attitude, the magic word. Ask somebody the question, do you have a good attitude? And they go, yeah, I do. But how can you have a good attitude if you don't know what it is? We need to learn what attitude really is so that we can control that vibration. Attitude is like, have you seen the magnet when it goes and picks up the car, right? They flip the switch, they turn the electricity off, and it drops the car. Well, attitude is like that. When our attitude's in harmony with what we want, it's drawing to us what we want. It's bringing those situations to us. Something comes along and our attitude changes. It's like flipping the switch the opposite way and it begins to repulse it. So how are we going to get it if we're constantly flipping the switch on and off and on and off in that vibration? We're going to learn to create, control, and maintain the vibration that gets the results you want all the time next week. That's it. Open floor. It's just Jen and Jason.
What up?
What up?
Sometimes I forget that you're recording this, which I apologize for because my questions aren't always what one would call appropriate.
That's all right.